Winston Hills Cricket Club wants to stay connected to you, our cricket community family. So we're doing as much as we can with trivia, challenges, and interviews to keep inspiring people to play this great game. In this first video segment called Winsto Wonders, we asked Julie May about her experience as a mother of elite sporting children and her involvement in Winsto cricket as the club's junior secretary. From watching cricket with former Prime Minister John Howard to travelling all the way to Rio for the Olympic Games, she's had some great experiences. So sit back and relax and enjoy 15 minutes of learning from Julie, because you might just find yourself in her shoes one day. This segment is brought to you by our good friends at Manor Real Estate. They are the diamond sponsors of Winston Hills Cricket Club. So if you have any real estate needs, contact your local Manor Real Estate agent. Have you ever wondered what it would be like to be a parent of an elite athlete? Well, joining me today is none other than our Winsto Cricket Club Junior Secretary, Julie May. Thanks for your time, Julie.
Thanks for having me, Justin. It's a pleasure to be here.
Now, you're a parent to not just one elite athlete, but two. Can you tell us a bit about your kids' success?
Well, you're particularly talking about two of my five children, I think, at this point. So, yes, Mitchell Stark is an Australian cricketer. He's a fast bowler, and he has experienced some success playing for Australia with cricket. He has been playing, he got his first rookie contract at 17 for New South Wales, and he's progressed through. And now he's a fairly significant part of the Australian team, I think. And my middle child is Brandon, and he's an Australian high jumper. He's the Australian high jump champion at the moment. He's a dual Olympian and a Commonwealth Games gold medalist in high jump.
Fantastic. Well, as kids growing up, I'm wondering whether perhaps they were involved in many other sports as well.
Well, certainly. As I mentioned earlier, I have five children. The first four are quite close together in age. And yes, they have all participated in a lot of sports. I guess that probably comes from a little bit, as a child growing up, I didn't have a lot of opportunity to play a lot of sport or be involved in a lot of activities outside of school. So as a parent, I think we all want to do or offer our kids more opportunities. And also, I didn't want to pigeonhole them from an early age. That was not my choice to make. So we gave them a lot of opportunities to experience a lot of different sports, down to a winter sport, a summer sport, something to do because it was fun, or with a different group of people. They all did some form of performing arts, dance or drama or music. So we had, just off the top of my head, cricket, soccer, rugby league, a little bit of AFL, softball, t-ball, 10-pin bowling, tennis, then dancing and drama and singing and musical instruments. So they did a lot of things as well as sport, but a lot of different sports.
Sounds like a very full, busy and enjoyable time. There would have to have been a point at which they said, okay, we need to focus in now for Mitchell on cricket and for Brandon on his high jump. At what age did that come, and what did they sort of give up and stop doing to focus in on their chosen sport?
Okay, so interestingly, for both of them, they continued to play a winter sport and a summer sport, so to speak, all the way through until they were around about 16 and 17. In saying that, probably in their earlier teens, it became a focused sport. In Mitchell's case, it was cricket. I mean, he was cricket obsessed from such an early age. He got his first cricket bat when he was 2, but continued to play all those other sports. But in saying that, he continued to play soccer right up until all age, and it was really when he got his rookie's contract at 17 that playing park soccer probably wasn't a good health choice as well. And his time aspect was really focused on cricket at that point. So he had a focused sport. Cricket was what he was really focused on and put his skills into and really developed and showed some some talent in. But playing another sport was really what sport's about in that age. It was fun, it was recreational, it was something to do in the off season, it was a fitness thing, it just gave a different focus. And I guess similarly for Brandon, he played soccer as well and continued to play up until he was about 16, I think. And his coach actually encouraged him to do that. Athletics is such an individual sport, so having a team sport is really great for everybody's development. And it also gave Brandon another outlet, a different focus. It helped his fitness. So, but in choosing to go down the path of cricket and athletics, giving up, I don't think any of them or either of them have looked at it as giving up. It was a choice that they happily made because they were enjoying what they were doing, they were experiencing success, and they wanted to do more. I think if you start thinking about it being giving up something, that's probably going to be a bit of a negative to that.
Well, if we shift the focus a little bit now to you, I'm guessing as a mum, there was a fair bit of taxi driving and equipment managing and encouraging and all sorts of roles. Tell us a little bit about the impact it had on you and the time commitment involved and what you perhaps gave up to support them in those endeavours.
Well, I look back now and I do wonder how we managed to timetable in so many things. And it really was about a timetable, I think. There was a lot of taxi driving. There was a lot of managing how do we fit everybody in. So at that stage, when they were all playing junior sport, Braith hadn't come along, or he was a very tiny baby towards the end of that. So he didn't feature into the 5-way timetable. But and again, we wanted to give them lots of opportunities so that they could focus on things. And certainly for the girls, Amanda and Taylor, it was important that they had the opportunity to play sports as well. And they really enjoyed playing a lot of different sports. And for all the reasons that we start our children in playing sport, it's great for their development. It's about being part of a team, building resilience and all of those sorts of things. So scheduling it, making sure everybody got a fair chance to be involved. It did mean that we didn't have many family holidays. We didn't have any family holidays in the early stages because cricket particularly tended to go right across January kind of school holidays, and the other sports and the other activities all crossed over into school holidays or weekends and so on. I don't look at it as a sacrifice, in that we wanted our kids to have those opportunities, and they kind of understood that. And through that, I've made lots of great friends and connections as well. So I guess there's no sacrifice there, but, you know, we look back and think, oh, that's why we didn't do it, or that's what we did do instead rather than in the deficit kind of thing.
Yeah, okay. You just mentioned about meeting some great people. I can only guess that you've had some pretty cool experiences being mother of international superstars. Tell us some of the great stories, some of the people you've met. Who do you get to spend time with at these events?
So I guess it is a beautiful side kick to that. With cricket, we've been really fortunate that parents are quite well respected within Cricket Australia as well. And so we've had opportunities to have some fairly good seats at some great matches, and, you know, some hospitality that's not afforded to other people. And there we get to meet with the other parents, which is really nice as well. And of course, some of the players, ex-players and prime ministers and other representatives of, you know, country and sport. So that's really nice. And you do see them from a different perspective when they're cheering on sport. I mean, John Howard is a pretty keen cricket supporter. So watching him enjoy a match from some nice seats in the SCG was interesting as well, and having a chat with him. So that's nice. We've been to the World Cup and, you know, got to go back to the pits of the MCG and meet the players on such a special occasion for both the Men's World Cup and for the Women's World Cup last year. So, you know, that's a privilege and an honour as a parent to be able to do those sorts of things. For Brandon, experiencing the Rio Olympics and going to Brazil was probably something that I wouldn't have done without the opportunity to go with Brandon or go and watch Brandon. So his wife Laura and I travelled there and enjoyed a time in Brazil and being, front and center for the Olympics. Similarly for the Commonwealth Games, I would not have missed that for the world. And the atmosphere there was amazing. There's nothing better than a home crowd to cheer a home athlete on. So they're the sorts of sporting experiences that we certainly enjoyed with boys.
Now, I guess emotionally, there's a bit of a difference between cheering for, say, your 14-year-old son down at the local park as opposed to cheering for your adult child who's at an Olympics or a World Cup. What's the difference emotionally for you between what it was like when they were boys and what it's been like since they've been men?
Well, I guess I'm still cheering them on as a mum, wanting them to do their best, and in team sport, be part of that great team player, and to achieve. They've all either as a 14-year-old or now as a professional athlete, they trained. Okay, the levels have changed a little bit, and I guess once they become professional athletes, other people have a stake in their success. But I guess I encourage both at 14 and now with the same sort of enthusiasm. I guess the emotional side of it is that I feel perhaps I don't want them to be feeling under pressure and dealing with those pressures that come from outside. And that's the part that really pulls at me and probably makes me react more emotionally as a parent of a professional athlete now, with the world watching or the country watching and the expectations that come from them. As a mum, they're still just my sons. So I feel, I guess, the emotions raised because of the pressure I feel that they might be feeling.
Yeah. I can imagine there'd be some parents watching this who are keen to go to the next level with their kids. Maybe they're playing Saturday club cricket in the mornings and they're not really sure what the pathway is or what the next step is in trying to promote them or get them to try out for teams. Can you give us a bit of a walkthrough of where you go from Saturday morning cricket to onto bigger things?
Well, I certainly think that at all stages, we have to remember that we are ultimately their parent, and that is the starting point, and you'll always be that parent. And we have to understand and respect that it really needs to be the child's want and desire if they want to progress through the different levels. All children should start playing something, any sport, because they have an interest in it and they develop a love of it. Often that will naturally lead to them wanting to try harder and to develop their skills, and that will often consequently mean that they'll get to a higher skill level and progress through, whether it be representative or through to professional sport. And certainly encouraging them and making them understand if they're playing in a team, that they're playing for a team, they're part of a team, and working together that way. Encouraging them certainly be respectful to everybody, their coaches, their managers, their fellow players, being prompt, being on time, making sure they put in 100% effort at their training. And then I guess embracing any opportunity that they have. Something I always tried to instill in all of my children is that whatever they're doing, they need to do their best. I'm never asking them to be the best. Sometimes that can happen, but they really need to be able to walk away and say, I did my best. And that certainly leaves me thinking that with this a little bit better or tried harder, that it might have changed. If they're always doing that and accept that, they've done that, so now they might need to build on that, or if that means that they've moved to the next level of playing, well, congratulations, and that's a feeling that you should embrace and know that that's how you get through and be successful.
Yeah. Now, I don't want to embarrass you here, but earlier this year, you were awarded life membership of the Winston Hills Cricket Club because of the work that you've been doing with the club over a long period of time. Can you tell us what that meant to you and maybe walk us through a little bit of when you first started and what roles you've taken on over time in a volunteer capacity that's led to the award earlier this year?
Certainly. Look, I don't think I've ever been more surprised for a start. It was certainly an honour to be awarded, and I've got my hat here. So never thought I'd have a baggy black, but there we go. And look, Winston Hills Cricket Club has certainly always been a great club, and full credit to those that have been there for the long haul. When Braith became a part of Winston Hills Cricket Club when he was 6, I think it was smaller, and the people involved, credit to them, they didn't have players, they didn't have children playing in the junior part of the club. And through all sorts of sports my kids have been involved in, I've tried to take a role on a committee or always do a duty and so on. So it kind of evolved that I became interested there and saw an opportunity to participate in that committee and help to grow and develop our club. And I think the real strength is that we have such a great group of members, and we have grown immensely over the last 3 or 4 years, incredibly grown, and the committee is just bursting with so much enthusiasm and talent and skills, and it really is a committee, and there's no individual working towards it. The changes that have happened have certainly been a committee driven and committee grown and member grown success. So I think the fact that it really has that friendly family kind of feel to it, and nothing makes me happier and makes me have a bigger smile than when someone comes back and talks about how they really feel like they're part of a club and how they enjoy the special kind of feel and culture of our club now. And, they've told other people, or when other club members, not that we try other people from other clubs, not that we're poaching anyone, but come and say, we played against Winsto and we just felt that there was a really nice feel about the way the teams presented and played and how they respected each other and respected the other teams. So I think that's probably the most heartwarming part of it, is that we have grown in numbers, but we've also grown in culture. And I think it's a place to come and stay, not just to pass through now.
Yeah, that's great. And a big part of that is the influence that you've had, Julie. So I'll just take this moment to say thank you on behalf of everyone involved in Winston Hills for all the time and effort and energy that you've poured into this club, particularly over the last half a dozen years. And it's a big part of why the club is the way that it is right now. So look, before we finish up, is there one final piece of advice or wisdom that you'd like to give to the parents out there about bringing their kids up through cricket, and what it might take or what they could be doing now to help them have the best chance of success?
Look, I think the best advice I would give is to always remember that you're a parent and you need as a parent, as advocate, and certainly encourage them to build all those skills that we want our children to have, not just on a sporting field, about respect and caring and building resilience to take those knockdowns when they might get them. Being an advocate is being different to trying to advance through the system in a different way. It really needs to be about encouraging your children to follow their passion and them wanting to do it, and supporting them to do that.
Yeah, great. Look, thanks for your time, and I hope cricket fans out there enjoyed that little insight, and we'll look forward to seeing you next time. Bye for now.
Thanks, Justin. Bye.